Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Praetor Magic. I'm your host, DM Cross, joined by the only other Praetor on this cast anymore. Jeez. Phyrexian, what's going on, buddy?
Alright, number one, Magical Hacker was never a Praetor. He was a Compleat. And number two, I'm doing great.
Alright, well, whatever. But yeah, so as you guys may have remembered from the last time we did this podcast, Magical Hacker just isn't able to be here every Monday, so he might pop in as guest from time to time, but for right now, it's just going to be me and Phyrexian. However, it kind of worked out, right? So we lost somebody, but like right in time for a big thing to happen. Is there something happening in Magic right now? Are we having like a huge hype and rush and blah 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 blah? I think we are. For War of the Spark.
Yeah.
Preview season started. It started on Sunday. Just this past Sunday, so yesterday. And it started with the Magic or the Mythic Invitational. Thank you, Kraus, for the bits. Oh, yay, that stray boss finally died. We do this in the middle of the intro. Anyway, so we started the previews yesterday during the Mythic Invitational. They previewed 17 cards total for in a panel, and then proceeded to leak a few more like throughout the stream. And then today, preview season started as well. So there's been people showing off their preview cards all over the place. And we're just gonna try to start taking a chunk out of them. We're not gonna be able to get through all of them because there's like 60 cards already previewed. I don't know if you knew that. When I went to look and it said like, yeah, there's like 64 cards. I'm like, holy crap, we went hard this preview season.
Yeah, they're really firing off fast.
So the one I want to start with is the one the panel started with, and it's gonna be the big planeswalker. So the biggest planeswalker we've seen so far. There's a lot of planeswalkers in this set, but the biggest one that we've seen so far is gonna be Liliana Dreadhorde General. For information, Dreadhorde is what Nicol Bolas's army is called. She's 4 black, comes in with 6 loyalty. She has a passive ability of whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. It's going to be really important as we continue to talk about these. Her +1 is to create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Her -4 is each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures. Then keep in mind that her passive, you would draw 2 cards that way. And her -9 ultimate is each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. That is an insane ultimate, one. And then, like I said, the passive ability, all these planeswalkers have passive abilities. So it's gonna be kind of cool to see as we look through the different types of planeswalkers there are. But when you saw this Phyrexian, what did you think?
I think it's a very, very powerful card. Because it's essentially you already have the effect. I mean, it's a creature you control dies too, so it's even better than Harvester of Souls, right?
Yeah.
Even better, because Harvester of Souls is non-token, so it's the same mana cost as Harvester of Souls.
Mm-hmm.
But then in addition, it has all these other abilities. Like, yeah, Harvester of Souls is a 5/5 with Death Touch. It's also a creature, makes it easier to kill than Planeswalkers generally.
Yeah.
And it only does non-token creatures, so same mana cost. I'd pretty much slot it in for any deck I can afford it in for a Harvester of Souls.
And plus,
even without any of the other abilities, just the first ability.
Yep. And then you think about you can make tokens, you can make people, you can kind of like lock boards out with the minus ability. I think the ultimate's a little bit much. Like
I think, and I agree with that, and because if you look doubling season, I was running a lot of these Planeswalker ultimates to the doubling season test, and if you notice, a lot of them are failing it. Like almost every Planeswalker that they have shown so far fails the doubling season test.
In terms of
meaning that if you play it with doubling season in play, you can ultimate at the turn it plays.
You can do that with this one. You get 12.
Most of them. Well, that's what I'm saying. That's a failure of the doubling season test. Not a success, it's a failure.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. So if it can ult the turn it comes down, it's bad.
Yeah, if it can ult the turn it comes down with the doubling season, that's bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially with how powerful some of these ultimates are, like hers.
Yeah. Because the thing for people, if they didn't catch on, is each permanent type as opposed to each non-land permanent type. So, like, this basically says your opponent kind of stopped playing the game because they get to pick a creature, they get to pick an artifact, they get to pick an enchantment, they get to pick a planeswalker, and they get to pick a land. Everything else dies. That's it. So I don't know. It kind of speaks. I mean, and again though, it's hard, right? Because on one hand, the ultimate should be super strong, but I think if you were to like wipe everybody's non-land permanents off, I think you'd still be fine with this ult. But I don't know, that ult is insane. If anybody who sees this ult go off is gonna just sit there and be sad, unless it's their ult. Would you want that ult to happen to you, Phyrexian?
No.
You want to be one of each opponent's?
I mean, I don't. I mean, I think this is worse than being one of the each opponents with Torment of Hellfire.
Oh, and actually, so if you think about it, right, like
Because this doesn't kill you; it just cripples you. It just
Yeah.
makes you miserable.
Yeah.
Like literally, there's no way this kills you. It just makes you very, very sad,
And then
like an overwhelming splendor.
go, going back to what you were saying about doubling season, like the Elseth one, where you get the emblem where all your permanents are indestructible or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She has to come down and then immediately die, right? Because she is exactly what it takes for her to ult her, and then you have to kill her, right? So this one, like, you even get to keep it.
Yeah,
With
she
that,
sticks
like,
around.
that's even worse.
It's 12. They sacrifice everything. You get 12, and then she's still there.
Yeah. So you still have a 3 loyalty planeswalker that you can then keep making tokens or like lock the field out even harder. Because next turn, if you have her, you have to plus her. But then if you have her the turn after that and you minus, chances are the one creature everybody maybe kept if they had a creature in the first place is now gone with one land. Like that's I don't know. I like everything about her except for that part. I think if they had said each non-land permanent type, I would have been fine. But I also don't. No, I think that would have been strong enough. I think it would have been fine.
It would have been strong enough, I think.
Yeah. All right, so this was I wanted to talk about this one because this is like the mythic planeswalker we've seen. Supposedly there's going to be 3. We haven't seen the other 2 yet. So what do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about another planeswalker. Let's talk about my girl Vivian.
What is her title?
Gosh, you have to ask me things.
I know the hard questions. Hold on, I found her. Vivian, Champion of the Wilds.
Yes, that would be her.
So for 2 and a green, she comes in with 4 loyalty. Her passive ability is you may cast creature spells as though they had flash. She has a +1 where until your next turn, up to 1 target creature gains vigilance and reach. Her -2 is look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down and put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. For as long as it remains exiled, you may look at that card and you may cast it if it's a creature card. She is a rare planeswalker, which again we were saying there's only going to be 3 mythics in the whole set, so she is a tick down, which is also why she doesn't have the big ult. So
yeah, and I like. I mean, I've kind of been back and forth on how much I like the not having an ult with the ability kind of thing. Or like in the case of the legendaries where they have the ult and the ability, and it's like, wow.
yeah.
You are legendary. You're mythic right there.
Yeah.
But like I really like this one just because being able to play things at Flash it's a good thing to do in Magic.
Yep.
There's a reason Yeva sees a lot of play in decks. There's a reason that that old Prophet of Krufix had to get Prophet of Krufix had to get banned, or which one is it? Was it Prophet?
Prophet, yeah. Prophet of Krufix had to get banned.
Yeah. So there's a reason for that. Being able to play things at instant speed that aren't normally played at instant speed is a big deal. And then the added advantage of you can give that thing vigilance.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
and reach, which matters when you have like mono green decks, right? You don't always have the easiest time with flyers. Everybody's gonna run Silk Lash Spider, but aside from that,
yeah.
And she's cheap for 2 and a green.
3.
Yeah. For 3 mana, you get. I would imagine most times you're gonna get a 5 loyal. Well, I guess maybe not. I guess the 5 loyalty would be if you want to bring her down and protect her. So obviously you're gonna give a creature something that can attack, because vigilance means that you can keep your blocker up unless you think your creature is gonna die. But 2, like the reach and keeping it up because of vigilance means that now you've got something to protect Vivian to try to keep going with her. But I don't know. Maybe sometimes you'll drop her down 2 immediately to go digging for creatures. I like how they did the wording on this one too, where as long as it remains exiled, so that if people do kill Vivian, you don't lose the card.
Yeah, it's
And
still there.
yeah, we've been seeing that more and more consistently with these effects, and Red's been getting a lot of these kind of like exile cards and still be able to cast some effects. Obviously, Red's depending on the card, like sometimes it doesn't do it, but for a reason, like because it's only till end of turn or whatever. But for the most part, like when a card just sits in exile, you get to play it most times, even if it's the card that exiled it originally is gone. So I think that's really important. And then you get to, as long as she stays out and the card stays in exile, you get to flash it in still.
Yeah.
So a lot of value, especially in big dumb green decks, which people like big dumb green decks.
I like big dumb green decks.
You're a big dumb green deck.
I need to
Got
make
'em.
another big dumb green deck. I mean,
Didn't you just play big dumb green deck on something recently?
no. It's been a while since I played a big dumb green deck.
I still say you're a big dumb green deck.
That's true, but and I mean, while we're talking about Vivian, we might as well talk about her weapon of choice. You know, Vivian's arc bow. If you're okay, just going with that little transition. Vivian's arc bow is for 1 and a green. It's a legendary artifact because I mean it's her bow. It has to be legendary, and it's X tap, discard a card, and then look at the top X cards of your library. You may put a creature card with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield. The rest on the bottom of your library in random order. I don't know how good this is going to be in like standard, but I really like this card for commander like a lot.
I
like
mean,
in your big dumb green decks.
I could see so I could see people trying to do something with it in standard because of wilderness reclamation.
Yeah. Well,
but those decks are already basically running, I guess, as maybe a way to dig for the Nib Mizzet. Like that's the only way I could see this being relevant. Because that's like the backup plan, right? Is Nib Mizzet. But for the most part, the reclamations want to do the explosion and basically one shot you for 30 damage. So, but it maybe. I think we kind of talked a little bit about it kind of being like a survival of the fittest, but good for some reasons and then bad for other reasons. Good because you get to discard any card. Bad because you have to pay more into it. It's not just a 1 mana discard.
Yeah.
So, I think it'll be good in a lot of decks with a lot of recursion.
But it also brings it to the battlefield, right?
Yes.
Survival of the fittest just puts it in your hand.
Yeah. But
it's
maybe for ETBs then. I don't know what big green. I don't know. I keep thinking about these things in the colors that they are, right? So I keep thinking about it in mono green, but then I'm trying to branch off and think about other things. You could go and get some ETB stuff that's in black or in blue or in white or red or or in green.
This is very splashable and other stuff too, but
yeah,
you can like just be like just throwing some big dumb Eldrazi down. Just get all your green mana doublers out there and just drop a Ulamog or Kozilek on the table. Why not? Or Blightsteel. There's nothing wrong with Vivian's Arc Bow for 12 and finding a Blightsteel Colossus in that top 12.
So think this, the Mana Rocks, Paradox Engine. Boom, we did it.
Ooh.
We did it! Yay!
We broke it as long as you can keep getting cards. As long as you can keep getting cards.
I mean, you get to look, right? So it's not even like search for or whatever, it's look. So I think, and you're gonna put the other ones back in the bottom, so you're gonna keep kind of like filtering through your deck the more and more you go.
Yeah, but you do have to discard a card every time, is what I'm saying. So it is finite still, but
that's fair. That's fair.
You can still go a long way. Turn that handful of lands into some good stuff,
Yeah, you go. The first one you go and you find is like what's it? Regal Force.
Yeah.
If you have a bunch of creatures, that way you draw all the cards, and it's like here's this land I'm gonna pitch. Here's this land I'm gonna pitch.
If you get lucky enough to hit that Regal Force. Hi, Mr. Seth. What card do you want to talk about next?
So I know what it is, but I cannot. Okay, I remember because I want to talk about a card that we're both gonna be probably pretty happy about. Cruel Celebrant, which you actually reminded us of earlier. I had forgotten about it, which was funny because when I saw it, I was really excited about it. So what it is, it's a creature vampire for a white and a black. It's a 1/2 uncommon. Whenever it or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Not super splashy, not something we haven't seen before. It's another Zulaport Cutthroat effect, but that's cool. It's another Zulaport Cutthroat effect, and it matters for planeswalkers, and it's an Orzhov. So it's not as quite as open as Zulaport Cutthroat because you could throw that in any like mono black deck or black green or black blue or whatever. Like you have to have the black white, so it's a little bit more restrictive, quote unquote. And it does go back to lose life. That was one thing that I noticed. What was it? It wasn't Vindictive Vampire. It was something in Ravnica Allegiance where it was a 4-drop, but it dealt damage. Do you remember what it was called? Because we always made the joke that if we could give it infect and like wipe the field,
Vengeant Vampire or something like that. Vindictive Vampire.
Something like that. But yeah, so it was an aristocrat that dealt damage, and then this one the very next set goes back to the loss of life thing. So I think that was kind of weird / cool. I don't know why they did it that way. Maybe mono black because the allegiance card was mono black. Maybe mono black does damage more than Orzhov is more lose life, kind of like the debt to the debt list style feel to it. But yeah, I mean it's another aristocrat. It's a vampire, so it's gonna go in my Edgar Markov deck. I'm starting to think that my Edgar Markov deck is just gonna become a Mardu aristocrats deck. I'm gonna toss Judas in there and Teysa in there and just go crazy with that.
I mean, there are worse lives to live, sir.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I know this is gonna go in my little 3DH Krav Regna deck. It's gonna go right in there. Just another way to do the thing.
Yeah. All right. So again, this one wasn't like super exciting, right? Like it's exciting for people who like the archetype, but aside from that, it's like, hey, another one, cool. And it's a 2-drop. That's another cool thing. We had a 4-drop. Falcon Wrath Noble is a 4-drop. So to have another 2-drop is kind of cool, even though it does have the dual colors. But white and black doesn't seem to mind having to pay white and black for this. But all right, you're up next because I kind of cheated and got one that we were both excited about.
Yeah, that's not fair. There's one I'm kind of saving. It's the one we talked about before.
The big one.
The big one. The one that could just be crazy.
The breaking one.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for it. I keep thinking of things to do with it, and I'm like, that's even stupider than I thought it was if you put it with one of the other things that I thought about doing, but we can't talk about it yet because we're doing that one later.
You know what? It's almost like there are just a lot of planeswalkers in this set because I'm gonna talk about another planeswalker.
You can't prove
to me
that there's
Tezzeret.
Ooh,
Master of the Bridge.
That's a good one.
For those of you who don't know, Phyrexian likes his artifacts. I don't know why I like artifacts. I mean, my name's Phyrexian. It doesn't make any sense at all that I would like artifacts.
We're all confused. These are all of our surprise faces.
My first 3DH deck was my Gliss of the Traitor Artifacts deck. It was one of my first commander decks in paper. Here we go. Does he go in Gliss of the Traitor? No, because he's got that blue in his mana cost. But can I build another artifact deck with him as a great win con? Oh, yes, I can. As what he says is 4, a blue and a black. It says creature and planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. So now all your creatures, all your artifact creatures are just super cheap. Your planeswalkers are super cheap. All that's true. Then Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You gain X life. That's a +2, people. That's a plus ability. How is that a plus ability? I don't understand, because I was playing Glissa the other night, and I had like 20 artifacts in play. You got things like Mishra's Replicators and Mirror Works and all this nonsense just to copy artifacts out the wazoo. You have so many artifacts in play. You've got Thopters. You've got Servos.
Treasures.
There's so many ways to make artifacts, man. There's just, I don't see how this is a plus. I think it's a very powerful plus ability. And then your neg 3 is return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand. So if you don't have your Darksteel Forge out yet and you just really need something back, there's some built-in recursion for you. And then exile the top pin cards of your library, put all artifact cards from among them onto the battlefield for his neg 8, which again, if you somehow splash into Sultai or some other color combination for your artifacts, deck, you know, maybe you play Muldrotha Artifacts with Glissa and this guy in there. And then, you know, you get doubling season in there too, and all of a sudden he doubles, he has 10, he minuses, and he's still around to plus the next turn.
Yeah.
Why do all these planeswalkers fail the doubling season?
Why are they all so good?
It's almost like they want to have to ban doubling season.
Well, you know, they're the rules committee is going to change that rule any minute now, right?
Maybe they will. Maybe
No,
they will.
won't. They won't.
What do you think about old Tez, the latest iteration?
Two things that come to mind. No, three things that come to mind immediately. One, I do know that he's a mythic one. And I said that we haven't seen the mythic ones. It's because he's the buy a box promo. You can see that down here where it says buy a box right next to the little mythic M. So he doesn't count for the 3 mythics that I think are in this are in the set. I believe, unless I'm wrong, in which case my apologies. The second thing is they did confirm that Affinity is not in the set. This is like the only card that has Affinity printed on it. So it's not like we're going to see a bunch of it's not going to be an artifact set where your Affinity is really super going to matter, at least as far as Standard is concerned. But I don't know what it's one of those things where like you look at it and like you read it and you're like, why are you like this? Like, Wizards, why did you print this? Because it's so good. And I even said in the chat, I was like, you were saying Planeswalkers have Affinity. Ugins can potentially just be free? Karn can just be free? Like, I didn't even think about that because there aren't that many colorless. I mean, if he could be, let's say if your play group is okay with the Planeswalker as commander, instantly an Artifact Eldrazi deck.
Like Krause's, he is the buy a box? Great. I have to buy a box.
Oh yeah. When they revealed him and like as the buy a box, I was like, oh. I was thinking about not having a box or not buying a box and just buying maybe singles for the set, but now I don't want to spend as much as he's going to wind up being, especially for commander players all over the world. I don't want to spend whatever he's going to be in a single. I might as well just get the buy a box and get whatever.
It is sad that he will probably never be in 3DH.
No, probably not. I mean, wasn't Nexus of Fate kind of legal for Season 3?
I don't remember.
But it was like 2 ticks or something. Yeah. They were like, yeah, you could play it. I mean, it's kind of a win con.
It's kind of a win con, but he is a win con all on his own.
Yeah.
Just like I said, the +2. Come on.
Yeah, man.
How many games you just loaded up with the artifacts?
Well, like, think about him in a Brea deck.
Yeah.
Or in an Esper deck, where, like, you're running Smothering Tithe with, like, Windfall effects. God, you might just drop him and kill people.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He's really good. He's
really good. His +2 could literally just drop and say, oh, you just lost 20 life. Sorry.
Yeah.
I gained 20 life. And it's not just target, it's all opponents. Because, you know, Bolas is super fair and he can target everybody, and apparently so can all his generals.
I kind of wonder if he's gonna, if in the story we're gonna really see Tezzeret minus, like, I feel like he's gonna be like just defending the portals. You know what I mean? Because it kind of looks like in the background of the art, it kind of looks like that's the portal with a Monkette horn in the back, and then he's got a couple of Eternals just kind of standing guard with him. So I don't think he's gonna be doing much fighting as much as he's just gonna be like, nobody's gonna get through to the other side that I don't want to get through. Like, no one's gonna damage us and stop us, kind of thing. And really, who's gonna, like, if he could do this stuff in a card, imagine like the crazy stuff he's gonna do in the story.
Mm-hmm.
He also looks badass in this. Like, almost his whole body is Ethereum now.
Yeah. He's just got his head left, pretty much, it looks like.
He's getting ready to be the next Urza. Un-Urza. You know what I mean?
Mm.
He's the mini boss you have to beat before you can blow up the bridge. I think he's kind of like the mini boss that you're not supposed to beat, right? Like, it's the storyline defeat where you go to fight him and he just is either invulnerable or he one-shots you at some point in the game. Like, you get him below like 5,000 health and he just, you know what? Boom, the fight's over.
You know, he's the D&D character you're supposed to, like, find a way around.
Yeah.
Not through.
Where, like, the whole party is like, you know what? We can do this. We're super clever. No, you're not. He's just raw power. Get out of here. But yeah, this
You weren't
this one's gonna
supposed to
be
tip
cool.
over that obelisk, sir. When you did, you have to fight this guy, and you all die.
Rocks fall, everybody dies. Why? Because it's freaking Tezzeret. I kind of can't wait to see how strong Bolus is because like this is really strong and Liliana's really strong. So like I can't wait to see slash am terrified of what Bolus is gonna be capable of. But so I'm gonna bring up a card that I think is not obviously as powerful as Tezzeret because I think we're gonna be hard pressed for that. But it's a land. Karn's Bastion is a colorless land. It taps for colorless mana or 4 tap it and proliferate. I just think it's a rare land too for people who are paying attention at home. I just think this is gonna be super cool. Like this is gonna be a really expensive card from the set because EDH players are gonna eat this up. I think Standard's gonna eat it up because Planeswalkers like Esper Control is built on Kaya and Teferi. And I like the fact like it's even a kind of a throwback to Contagion class where it's 4 tap to proliferate. And there's another lane I think in the set that like you sacrifice it to either proliferate or something else. I forget what it was, but this one you don't have to do anything like that. You just keep tapping it for value. Like 4 is a lot, but in EDH it's very easy to get to a point where like you do have a decent amount of expendable mana. So and to keep ticking your planeswalkers up to those ultimates because if you get those ultimates and they go off, especially in like a planeswalker deck, you might just straight up. Who knows? Maybe even Modern Infect's gonna see this. I don't know. 4 and tap, so 5 lands essentially to do it. Might be too slow for Modern, but
Yeah, that's way too slow for mine. But I mean, there's so many decks that use the proliferate mechanic. It doesn't have to be planeswalkers. It can be the +1/+1 counter deck.
yeah,
It just makes big mana, like your Rishkar deck. You've got tons of extra mana all the time, so this can slot right into that. And it's just like, hey, now I get to proliferate all those counters I just made.
yeah.
Um, so any deck running like a theme that's gonna have enough mana to be able to have the extra mana to do this, I think is good.
Energy decks
I'm just gonna say it. Why though do we have all these cards that say proliferate? I know it's a
because
planeswalker set. I know it is.
yeah, they
I
brought
get it.
back proliferate for. So this was like one of the most talked about things once they revealed that like War of the Spark was going to be very planeswalker centric. Everybody's like, so is proliferate coming back, or are you going to do like a new ability that does something similar? Like people were wondering if like Doubling Season was going to get another new reprint, which by the way it's not. And for the record, I know by the time a lot of people will see this on YouTube or hear this through their podcast websites, Doubling Season wasn't previewed. If you go and look at the bottom of the card that's going around, the artist name says April Fools instead. I'm sorry. Everybody got excited about it, but stop it.
There's no way they would do that.
Not so far or not so recently after the reprint for Battle Bond.
I don't think they'd reprint it in standard.
Maybe if it, I don't know. No, probably not. They'd probably do one of the other ones first.
Hmm.
Like the what's the one that's everybody gets, and it's +1/+1 counters. It doesn't even say planeswalkers.
The Primal Vigor,
Yeah,
right?
they'd probably print that one first more than anything. But then again, that has nothing to do with the planeswalker, so it wouldn't make sense anyway. So, but yeah, I cheated once, and then I took it easy with this cool land. So go ahead.
Making me do all the work this time.
This was
Like it.
actually I'm getting like the functionally like solid cards. That's what it is. I'm getting the low hype ones. I'm letting you get the hype.
Well, fine. I'm just gonna keep the hype train going.
Mm.
Let's talk about Teferi, the Time Raveler.
Oh God.
Keep. I mean, like Hero of Dominaria wasn't bad enough. Here they print another powerful Teferi.
Yeah. So
Like I can't think of a card that has Teferi's name printed on that's not powerful, but it's for 3 mana, 1 a white and a blue, and it's a Teferi Planeswalker. And it says each opponent can cast spells only at a time they would cast a sorcery. And until your next turn, you may cast spells, sorcery spells, as though they had flashes as +1, and then as -3 is return up to 1 artifact creature or enchantment to its owner's hand, and then draw a card.
This is so cool. It's so good.
Do we need another way for? Do we really need another Teferi that combos with Knowledge Pool though?
Well, first of all, we should just ban Knowledge Pool because it's a garbage card and I hate it. Second of all, I don't know. I love because this is his thing. You know what I mean? Like before he was a planeswalker, when he was a legendary creature, like this is a callback because he turned around and said you couldn't play things at instant speed. So that's really cool to see it come back from like a flavor point of view. Now, from a player point of view, do I ever want to see this ever? Unless it's on my board, no. However,
it's only 3 mana too, though. His legendary creature form was 5. And it was like triple blue. This is one a blue and a white.
Yeah.
This comes out on turn 3 and just is like, oh, hi, good luck.
Or, turn 2 if you get that Soul Ring. God, could you imagine? Turn 2 to Fairy. Just be like, hey, stop playing instants. No more interaction. It's not even like I forget what it was. I think it's a mono green legendary creature from Kamigawa where it says you can only play spells during your turn. So you could play instants at instant speed during your turn. This is literally just no, you can only play at sorcerer speed. So if I counter something on your turn, you can't even do anything about it. You know what I mean? Like it's so gross.
And again, it's each opponent.
Yeah.
All these cards they're printing anymore, each opponent. It's like that doesn't affect, standard or 1v1 formats, but it so affects Commander.
I don't know. I think this is going to the fact that it's each opponent as opposed to each player, I think is going to massively affect standard. Like I could see people trying to find this in either the Esper Control or the Esper Acuity deck, one or the other. Or who knows, maybe just some Azorius deck winds up coming up. Oh, no, I guess, because you need black for the removal for those 2 decks. Oh, and the Masterminds, of course, yeah. But, I don't know, it's a really good card. I'm super... I know, like, Danny's gonna run this, and I'm gonna hate it, but, like, I don't know. I love it when I see things come together in, like, flavorful ways. And again, like, the fact of it's like, here, this is what he used to do. He still does it. Even though he's, everybody's favorite dad figure now. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Just don't play me with it.
Still does a thing. Hey, what value card are you going to point out next?
Aww. Man, we went through these a lot faster than I thought we were. You know what? I'm gonna go.
You know what? It's amazing how efficient we got when Magical Hacker's not here anymore.
Well, speaking about being efficient, I'm gonna go for again a flavorful card that is not necessarily good at all whatsoever. Let's talk about Tybalt.
Oh gosh, no. No, I refuse.
Yeah, no, we gotta do it. Come on.
You talk.
He's not that bad anymore.
He's not as bad as he was. He's still okay. I will say he is not the worst. He is not the worst planeswalker that has been revealed.
Ooh, now I'm curious what you think.
I'll say the worst planeswalker that's been revealed, in my opinion.
Okay.
After we talk about Tybalt.
Okay. So Tybalt, Rage Instigator, is a uncommon planeswalker. Again, so real quick, just go back to this. The way it's going to work for at least this set, and I'm assuming sets moving on from now on, is that the mythics are going to get the static ability, a plus, a minus, and an ult. The rares are going to get the static ability, a plus, and a minus. The uncommons are going to get a static ability and a minus. They're not going to have a plus, and once they're dead, they're dead. So they kind of feel like sagas mixed with like just regular enchantments, where because if you get Tybalt, let's say down to 1 and he has a -2, you can't use his ability, so he's just gonna hang out and his passive is just gonna be there unless somebody goes to swing at him. So just information for people who may not be seeing the whole set yet. That's the pattern. He is 2 and red. He comes down with 5 loyalty, which sounds amazing, but again, he only has a minus. His passive ability is your opponents can't gain life. Simple to the point. And then his -2 is create a 1/1 red devil creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. Which is it's in line with what he does.
And I actually do think this card is, I mean, granted, the mono direct decks that are running around right now are pretty much running all 1 or 2 mana spells, but this could see some fringe play. Like someone's probably gonna try it in a mono red deck just for the your opponents can't gain life.
Yep.
Clause.
I think actually we will see it at least attempted for a while because one of the biggest things that like mono red struggles with is getting down the Esper decks really low, and then they gain life and get out of reach of the rest of their burn. So if you can get Tibalt out and continue with like hitting people in the face or burning them out, you can at least stall them and keep them low enough. I think even if you take them off for a turn,
Yeah.
I think
I'm just not sure if it'll be a main board card or a sideboard card. That's what I'm wondering.
I don't know. With the way Magic's going, pretty much the only time we have sideboards is for when you're gonna have the Black Tutor. So
That's fair.
just saying, but still, and again, like he isn't gonna be super impactful, but like Rampaging Ferocidon got banned out of Standard, and it had one of those effects, which is the can't gain life thing, and it even kind of sort of has a similar effect where you make the tokens which can ping when they die. So obviously, Rampaging Ferocidon was whenever a creature enters the battlefield, the controller takes 1 damage. So it's not the same. It's not exactly the same. It's not quite as powerful. But again, I think Rampaging was a rare. This is an uncommon. And if they printed a rare that had to get banned relatively shortly, I wouldn't want them to just do the same thing over again. So maybe this is the balance that it needs to be good enough where it doesn't make Standard miserable for everybody who's not playing mono red. You know what I mean? So I think it's actually not too bad of a card. I don't think it's again like I don't think it's gonna be top 8ing or anything like that, or winning the next invitational. Although mono red was, I believe, in the last round of the invitational. Just saying, mono red went up, I believe, against mono white at one point in like the final 4. So it could happen. You don't know. I don't know. But all right, you said you wanted to talk about the worst.
And in my opinion, this is the worst one that's been revealed.
Mm.
In the opinion of Phyrexian and nobody else, Samut.
Oh.
Tyrant Smasher.
All right.
It's for 2, and then red green hybrid mana, red green. Creatures you control have haste, and then his -1 is target creature gets +2/+1 and gains what?
Haste.
Haste until end of turn. Then you do get to scry 1. Why in the heck does it say his static ability is creatures you control gain haste, and then the target creature gets +1/+2/+1 and gains haste?
It's because I'll even the next card I do want to talk about because I think you might like the next card that I'm going to talk about. I don't like it, but similar problem or similar concept with this one is when you -1 when Samut only has 1 left and she dies, you don't want to give the boost on a creature that like you really want to attack that you just played and then not be able to do anything. So you're giving because the static effect will be dead then. So you have to have another way to give it haste. I also I kind of agree with you though that Samut's kind of a crappy planeswalker because her minus ability is actually her exact. So a lot of these informational. A lot of these cards have a like matching other card that's a non-planeswalker card. Like, who have we talked about already? We've talked about all the ones that I don't remember what they were. Oh, Liliana has like a Dread Horde card, right? That kind of like matches up with her. Vivian has her Arcbow. There you go. That's a good one. So Vivian and her Arcbow go together. Tibalt and he had like Tibalt's Ragers. They go together. Samut has I believe an instant that does the exact same thing that her minus does. Target creature gets +2/+1 and gains haste. It's a Samut Sprint, I think.
Yes, Samut Sprint is the name of it.
Right? So it does the exact same thing for 1 red mana. That's why I think it's crappy, because like the Arcbow and Vivian don't do the exact same thing. They do kind of similar things, but they're also still different on a fundamental level. Like this is literally the thing. This is literally the thing she does, and it's not even special in the set.
I mean, and compare Samut to the Samut from Amonkhet, right?
Yeah.
Samut from Amonkhet, the voice of dissent, is a flash, double strike, vigilance, and haste. Other creatures you control have haste, and then you can pay a white and tap her to untap another target creature with vigilance. That's just so much more powerful for one more mana than this planeswalker.
I mean, to be fair though, her planeswalker side was not her planeswalker side, but her planeswalker version was kind of crappy too, if I remember correctly.
Detested.
Yeah, the
I mean, it gives the creature double strike and then deals like damage, right? And then something else.
yeah, but overall on like a scale
I
of
ran it in my
planeswalker,
World of Mistwalker deck because of the double strike.
eh, come on now. Josh Lee says Voltron's the commander damage shouldn't even matter.
And okay,
I knew I was gonna get on with that one. We
there
don't
has to be
always agree with everybody or everything that everybody says. Just that
that's
I'll leave
true.
it at that.
We don't,
But
and I
yeah,
don't agree that there doesn't need to be some solution for infinite life gain decks.
Yeah.
Or
I
even
do
just
agree
a lot of
though.
life gain decks.
I agree Samut's kind of like lackluster.
Worst one so far, in my opinion. I don't know that there won't be a worse one.
Yeah.
But it's currently she's on my list of the worst one.
I mean, she's a 4 mana haste enabler at the very least, and the scry's not terrible.
Yeah, it's a 4 mana haste enabler because we don't have a lot of them for 1 or 2 or 3.
Mm, enchantment ones that are for 1, not that I know of. I know we have a lot in 3.
There's the red one. I mean, it gives everything haste, and there's Concordant Crossroads in green.
Oh yeah.
And then there Mass
Concordant
Hysteria in
Crossroads is
red.
expensive.
Mass Hysteria is not. It's in red.
Yeah.
I know
That's
there are world
everybody.
enchantments to give everything haste, but
Yeah, that's
still,
everything.
I mean,
Though.
it's still haste.
No. We don't run symmetrical effects here.
Hey,
We don't help
hey,
people here.
you just said a thing, and I gave you 2 cards that proved what the thing you said wrong.
I'm just saying, we don't run like I'm talking about. Okay, let's talk about ones that we'll care about.
Fair enough.
Speaking of ones that we'll care about, I don't know if we would be able to have this stream without talking about this particular person because he's the main character all the time. But Jace, Wielder of Mysteries, and I bring this one up because again I think a lot of people are going to be excited about Jace. Personally, I'm not. And it's because of what his passive is. But Jace, Wielder Mysteries is a 4-drop. He's 1 blue for loyalty when he comes out. He's a rare, so he's going to have a plus and a minus. His minus does kind of feel like an ult, so I kind of didn't like how they it felt like they broke parity to me. Like he doesn't have just a minus and it kind of protects him or whatever. His passive is if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. So Jace is now Lab Maniac. That's great. His +1 is target player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard, draw a card. So if you target yourself with this, you will basically get to get 3 cards out of your library and get closer to winning the game with his passive. And then his -8. Again, he has an ult, even though the other rares don't really feel like they have an ult. Is draw 7 cards. Then if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. A lot of people commented on why does he say you win the game twice. Again, if he is at 8 and ults, he will die, and his passive effect will not be there when you go to draw the card. So it's important for not killing yourself. But yeah, so like Cross is in the chat saying, "Ugh, another Lab Maniac." Yeah, and it's a Planeswalker one, so it's not as easy. It can be easy to get rid of, but probably not because it's gonna be a mono blue, and they're just never gonna let you touch it. If this is your win con, I imagine.
Yeah, there's all the things to stop you from ever hurting this thing.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not super excited about it.
To evacuation to Psych Rift to counter spells to just everything.
Yeah,
just everything.
And I'm not super happy to see it, but I get that some people will be, and I'll lose to it. I'm sure at least once, and then I'll just be sad.
You just reach across the table, tear it up, and then say, "Ha! Can't lose to that one again."
No, I only do that with Approach of the Second Sun. Apparently.
Oh.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on Jace? You're a Lab Maniac person.
I mean, yeah, but
You're one of those. That's your
I
type.
mean, I've definitely won with a Lab Maniac. I'll admit it,
Yeah,
more than once,
you're an
more
awful
than
person.
twice,
Yeah,
more than a few times. But
literally the worst.
I don't know. Just I don't know. When I want a Planeswalker, I want something more than a Laboratory Maniac. You know, is
I don't know.
that bad?
I don't know. I mean, it's a powerful effect, especially mono blue. You're just gonna
It is.
end
It
the
is a
game.
powerful effect. I'm not saying it's not a powerful effect, but you consider Laboratory Maniacs what, a common or an uncommon?
I forget. Hold on. He's an uncommon.
I mean,
He was a rare originally.
he's
He's
a
been
2/3.
downshifted.
Yeah, he's two and a blue. I don't know. It's just it doesn't feel like as JC as Jace has been.
He's at least hard to splash. So like you can't be running. I mean, like you can be, especially in Commander. Like you can splash, find ways to splash him. Like Chromatic Lantern makes it easy, but like at least in Standard, I guess mono blue decks. Because wasn't there like a mono blue mill deck where now maybe because most effects like this tend to say target player, maybe now you mill yourself and Jace is your closer.
Maybe
I don't know. Maybe that's a thing. But all
could be
right,
interesting.
find
Could
find
be
us
a thing. I'll
something.
try.
Find us something more interesting to talk about. We'll each do one more, and then I'll let you do the big one.
Ooh.
I already know what I want my next one to be, so
What if I steal your next one?
I bet you won't.
I'm gonna talk about Time Wipe.
Oh, good, you didn't do it. Ha 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 ha. This is a cool card.
I like this card. It's kind of
The
like a Day of Judgment plus.
Yeah, the promo art for this one where they have Teferi, I think I like it a little bit more. Let me see if I can find the other art.
But
There you go.
so it's
Yeah.
Time Wipe is for two white and a blue. So for 5 mana, it says return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures.
Simple. Save something, get rid of everybody else's something.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like it because there's so many times where I cast a board wipe in Commander where I'm like, oh man, I really wish I wasn't board wiping this creature of mine, but
Yep.
everything else is just so scary I don't really have a choice. And this
Yeah.
is kind of like, well, it won't be in the field right now unless I have enough mana to play it, but I'll have it safe, tucked away to replay another day. So I kind of like the the Teferi's his protective spirit kind of with his wrath.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the duality of the card too, just in terms of like everybody's like, I'm gonna keep this safe, but all of you guys are about to get screwed up.
Yeah. I like the idea of especially for a commander, like bouncing your board wipe. I mean bouncing your commander and then having the board wipe go through, right? Because we always talk about like, man, I don't want to wipe because my commander's so expensive now, like, but I don't want to die to this board presence, so
My
here we go. I
commander
get to keep my
already
commander.
cast 13 mana.
Yeah, exactly. So like here, I can keep my commander at least in my hand, so I can cheat the tax because this will be like the fifth time I will have played it from the command zone if I don't. So I think it's gonna be really cool. And it's a 5 mana wipe. It's already double white, and then you're kind of really just splashing the blue in there. So it's not like it's not like it's like one white white blue blue. Like that would
Yeah,
be kind of rough. So I think it's well costed. Um, it's just a solid card. I'm really excited for it. The promo looks amazing. It's the very like destroying some eternalized zombies. It looks like, and I'm guessing the bounces himself. Well, no, he's a planeswalker, so I don't know what creature he would be saving. But whatever. Maybe the art doesn't have to make sense. You're gonna be running
right.
this in all your Azorius decks now. Danny's gonna run the crap out of this thing.
I mean, if it's affordable, it'll go right in 3DH Braga.
Uh,
Because
uh.
then I can save a thing that I want to be keeping.
Yeah, just make sure Brago doesn't go to exile instead of the command
Hey, I
zone.
won that game, sir. I won that game. Deadeye Navigator makes a good backup commander of that deck.
Yeah. So it's actually
Alright.
funny that you picked Time Wipe. There was a non-0% chance that you would have taken the one that I was gonna look at, but I watch so much. I watched pretty much all of the Mythic Invitational this past weekend, so I am kind of like my brain's been like reset to standard a little bit because of watching the decks and watching the interactions and everything. And when this next card got previewed, I was really excited because I'm like, oh, this is gonna take this spot or that spot. Like when we're going, like not just even the next card, but all these cards. And Dovin's Veto is the card that I want to talk about. It is a rare instant. It is white and a blue, and it's this spell can't be countered. Counter target non-creature spell. So again, the reason why I think it's going to be a really popular card for at least standard is that I saw a lot of decks running negate. As long as you just make sure you have your colors up, this is a negate that you don't have to fight over, like an absorb with or whatever, or like people trying to negate your negate. So I think this might be in the new Esper, or not in the new Esper decks. I shouldn't say new Esper decks, but I think the Esper decks are going to start picking stuff like this up. I think Esper decks are going to change a lot. I think Esper's still going to be super strong because of like new Teferi's a really good card where like, hey, I get to play on my turn and you can't, or like Teferi basically is again kind of a Dovin's Veto effect where like, hey, you can't counter my stuff because you can't play at instant speed. So I think Esper control is going to be just obnoxiously good. And I hate to say it because I'm not normally like a big control player, but watching the Invitational this weekend, I enjoyed the Esper control matches so much because it was such a like who's gonna draw the thing that just sets them and goes off. It was like biding time to win a race. It was the weirdest feeling in the world, but it was really cool to watch, and so I'm really excited to see how the deck's gonna tune for like the next couple Mythic Championships once the set comes out.
I kind of like the smarmy arrogance of his flavor text here too. I see you for nothing, Chandra. You'd still put a match to something rather than understand it. It's very like Emperor Palpatine-esque.
I mean that's Dovin though.
Well, it is Dovin. It's like it's just very it is very good flavor text for him.
Yeah, he always
Just
thinks
his,
he's a step ahead of everybody, and for the most part, he is right. To give him credit, a lot of times he is at least himself safe or just ahead of the good guys, but he's always snarking.
Yeah.
But all right, so we're gonna wrap this up with one more, and it's the one we all should want to talk about. And if you don't want to talk about it, you're crazy. Or you're Danny and you don't like black cards.
So this card is simply titled Bolus's Citadel.
It's so cool.
It's for 3 and a black, which I mean, triple black. You know, that's expensive.
It's good.
It's a legendary artifact. You know, good. I mean, we're already in black. We already are an artifact. Phyrexian already loves it. I mean, then you may look at the top card of your library at any time. Meh, okay, I can just look at it, whatever. Except then you can play the top card of your library. If you cast the spell this way, you don't even have to pay the mana. You pay life equal to its converted mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. And then you sacrifice 10 online permanents, and each opponent loses 10 life.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
It's so cool.
There are a few things you can do in Magic, and I think you're probably about to say this, but there are a few things you can do in Magic that are as awesome as cheating mana cost. And as powerful as cheating mana cost.
I keep thinking of like, well, oh, I could do this with this card. And, oh, I could do this into this with this card. And, oh, imagine if it played out like that. And granted, like, yeah, you're not gonna get like the perfect setup on top of your library. Oh, you may play the top card of your library, so you can get lands with this.
Yeah.
I got tripped up because it said if you cast a spell this way, pay life equal. So wow, you just get
you can play lands, yeah.
What? Crazy. I love it. But so one of the first things, so whenever I play black, like one of the first cards I include in almost every black deck is Gray Merchant. And I remember thinking that with this, your devotion is already 5. So off one opponent, you get the life back that it cost to cast Gary in the first place because he's a 5-drop. He's 3 black.
Mm-hmm.
So like in a 4-player game, you go up 10 life, get everybody for 5 just with these 2 permanents.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember that you throw this in a mono black deck or an off deck that's dedicated to getting life, and you're gonna have enough mana to pay for this over and over and over again. And if you don't have enough mana to pay for it, you don't have to. If you don't want to pay the life for it, you don't have to. It's not like you reveal it and then you lose that life and it happens. You look
Yeah.
at it and then you decide if you want to.
It's
Like it's
so
not a you have to. It's a okay. Well, this is a Blightsteel Colossus, and I don't really want to lose 12 life. Oh well, I just won't do it right now.
it's so
Yeah.
cool.
I know I keep
And
coming back to Blightsteel Colossus. I don't know why. I'm just really stuck on that card tonight.
I know. It's because we're talking about proliferate a lot, so maybe that's it.
We're talking about artifacts and proliferate, and I love infect and artifacts, and Blightsteel's like the perfect combination of those things. But I mean, I mean, the last thing, the sacrifice 10 online permanents, each opponent loses 10 life. It's almost just like whatever. It's the cheating ability that makes it so good.
I actually do think, and
That
I
can be a
think,
finisher though, but
yeah, I think people aren't gonna realize. Like, imagine if you, because again in black, and then you mentioned like Orzhov decks, so like running like Smothering Tithe and Pitiless Plunder and Revel in Riches, right? So imagine if you just get treasure and gold tokens and clue tokens and shit like that, and then you just sacrifice them to hit people for 10. Like, sure, you're not gonna get the mana out of it, but if you have 10 mana just kind of sitting around, you're not using it anyway. Plus, with this, it doesn't really matter how much mana you
and
have.
you don't need that mana because you can just
Yeah,
cast the top card of your library for free.
yeah,
What
you
do you
don't
need
really
mana
need
for?
10 extra mana. If you have
Who
10 life,
needs
you're
mana?
good.
This
Chunking
is.
everybody for 10. Hitting the table for 30. That's what I like to see. So good.
I know I'm not right in the head, Kraus. I know I'm not.
We all know. We all know you're not right in the head.
But Kraus says he needs to find a way to put it in his Krav deck, and he's right because Krav gains so much life.
Yeah, you
You
just
don't have
put
to
it in
find a
there.
way. You just put
Yeah,
it in there.
you just do the thing.
Pick any card in your Krav deck except Krav, and you could almost cut it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a couple other exceptions, obviously, but most of the cards in there, you can just like throw
I'll
this
tell
card
you
out and
what.
give this
I'll tell
card
you
in.
what you could replace this or replace in your deck for this. And I think you might think I'm a little crazy at first, but you got to kind of like think about what they both do. Necropotence.
Oh yeah.
You just take Necropotence out. You put this in. You don't have to worry about exiling anything out of your hand for when you discard it. You have to pay 3 more, so that's the big downside. But Necropotence and to stop drawing the cards and start casting the cards.
The one problem is that if you hit 2 lands in a row.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if this is a build around, I think this is a build around card for the record. Like, if you're gonna put this in a deck and like you want it to be the thing, like I think you just kind of find ways to make sure it's the thing. But like you Vampiric Tutor, put it to like you could now on your turn Vampiric Tutor without caring. You lose 3 life because Vampiric Tutor and casting it, but then you go and you put whatever card you need on top.
Yeah.
And there you go. You did it. You just keep finding tutors that put things on top of lands, or like shuffle effects, or like top. Put Sensei's Divining Top on in your deck. Let that be your tutor. Then you cast that for 1, lose 1 life, and then as long as you have mana to activate top, you just keep shuffling, or not shuffling, but you move the top of your deck around to do what you need to do. If you hit 3 lands in a row, I'm sorry, you're just unlucky.
There are worse lives to live.
Exactly. Don't run Necropotence in my crab deck. Oh my goodness. Why you hurt my heart like this, DB Cross? But alright. So there's obviously a lot more stuff. There's a lot of other planeswalkers, but there's too much revealed right now for us to go over in an hour. Like we went through what,
We went
like
through a lot of cards.
eight cards each or so? So we went
Yeah.
through like 16 cards in an hour. So a little bit more than like 5 minutes a card, plus with intro, and then we're trying to wrap up now. So we're probably gonna talk about this again next week, I would imagine, because more stuff's gonna come out, and I'm sure a lot of that's gonna be like really good stuff too. So I don't know, maybe we'll talk about this for a little while. We'll have to figure it out and let Valder decide, because the dead guy's in charge.
Yeah.
The dead guy's in charge of the 2 Golgari players. What's going on here? I know we miss New Bitter Blossom, but I can't. We have too many cool cards.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it next week, I promise. Maybe, I don't know, I'll forget. What?
We'll get to things. We'll do
But
the
yeah.
things.
So we did want to, before we wrap this up, Phyrexian, you had some stuff to talk about.
Alright, so as some of you who follow us on our 3DH streaming know, we've recently doing theme streams. And so this week's theme stream idea that Phyrexian came up with, so if you hate it, blame Phyrexian, don't blame DM, is DM is pulling up EDH, and you may notice this little button over in the corner. So you see this little button. Are you hovering over the little button, DM?
I can hit the button.
And what it does is it just generates a random commander, just pulls it up. So DM's gonna hit this 4 times. We're gonna get 4 commanders. Then, just so you don't accuse DM and I of cheating and picking our favorites or picking the ones that we think are the best, we're gonna have a roll off with the 2 people who are gonna play in the game. And whoever wins the die roll gets to pick first. Whoever second gets to pick second, third, and fourth. So DM or I could end up being the last people to pick. Let's hope that doesn't happen, but it could.
I was about to say I don't like that.
And the one rule that we did talk about doing is we're gonna limit it where it's only $1. Like it cannot be more than $1 of your budget, just so you don't have anyone playing super budget restrictive commanders that could hurt them.
Anybody getting Marin at like 3 ticks, and it's like, well, what do I do?
Well, I mean, I have a Marin deck, so I'd be fine with that. But we're just gonna keep
if Marin was 3 ticks. It was just the example was more about the price.
Yeah, it was arbitrary. Like just $1 seemed like a third of the budget at most seemed like a good place to cut off, so you could still have room to do other fun things with your deck. Right. So I can't even see the cards, so DM's just gonna have to tell me, and I'm gonna have to trust him.
Well, hold on. I want to see if I can get this to go in the right spot. Oh, I guess I can kind of. I mean, the first one is hilarious.
What's the first one?
Hold on, I'm see if I can get it on screen. Yeah, there you go. You're gonna have to price check this one because the price on EDH Rec says it's $1.06. So it's
Kiki Jiki is 63 cents. So
okay, so Kiki Jiki's in there. Oh God.
Ooh.
All right, so for anybody listening and can't see the cards, Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker is 2 red. Okay, good. 2 and 3 red. Legendary creature, Goblin Shaman, has haste. It's a 2/2, and tap it to create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control. That token has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Very well known combo card.
Yeah, we're gonna be breaking some mirrors, or somebody is.
I don't want to. Can we not?
Spin the wheel again here.
All right, random. Oh, did it actually bring up a random card? Oh no, he's a legendary. Cabal Patriarch? What is this card?
I don't know, but why don't you read it for us?
So, first of all, it's an old card.
Budget.
It's an old card, so I didn't even realize it was a legendary creature because it's creature - wizard legend.
It is 0.006 cents.
Yeah, I bet it is. It's 3 black 5/5 wizard legend. For 2 and a black, sacrifice creature. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. 2 and a black. Remove a creature card in your graveyard from the game. So exile a creature card out of your graveyard. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. This is horrible. I didn't know this was even a commander. Like I've seen this art before, but I thought it was just on a creature. I didn't realize it was a legendary creature.
That's a wizard legend, sir.
Hey, you're a wizard legend. It's not a sack outlet. It's a 3-mana sack outlet.
Yeah, I mean it's a sack outlet. I mean it's no Yahenny, but
can we trade for that? Can we like trade up? Can we upgrade? Oh my gosh.
Only if you want to break the rules.
No, fine.
Hi, what we got next? This is hilarious.
I don't know what these cards are.
We've got mono red, mono white, and mono black so far too.
Kataki War's Wage. That's not even grammatically correct. It's 1 and a white. It's a 2/1 spirit from Kamigawa, I'm sure. All artifacts have at the beginning of your upkeep sacrifice this artifact unless you pay 1. This could not even be relevant in this entire game.
This is a 59-cent Magic card too.
What? What deck in what format runs this piece of crap?
Hey, you know what? If you're playing the artifact heavy meta, it's great. Yes,
Oh,
Jiggle says turn
yeah,
everything into
John's got it.
artifacts. Ooh.
No, it's a modern all-star. Modern's a terrible format.
Hi, DM.
Can I get the first one?
Let's spin. I think everyone wants the first one now. You
Oh
want to win
God,
the die
no,
roll right
no,
now.
I can't. I cannot be stuck with this one. I am having flashbacks. Sidar Kondo of Jamora is 2 green white. He's a 2/5 human knight, has flanking because it ever mattered. Creatures your opponents control without flying or reach can't block creatures with power 2 or less. It's a partner card. So just so everybody knows why I do not want this card, I once ran this in Jank Tribal where I ran Tribal Knights. It was the very first episode of Praetor Magic ever. It was the first game we ever played for the channel. And I had the worst time ever because I had creatures with flying or reach. The first 2 things anybody did was 1, Danny played archers, so they all had reach, and then 2, John made all his walls in his Fennex deck fly. I literally sat there, did nothing, and died. It was horrible.
These are some great commanders. You know, minus Kiki Jiki. He's terrible.
You shut your mouth.
I know which one I'm picking if I win.
So
I want to play mono black, clearly.
I'll let you have it as long as I don't have to play Sidar Kondo. I can't do
Well,
it again. I can't. The deck I played may have cost me 3 ticks if we were to go by the cost now, because like the prices have gone down so much. So minus Sidar Kondo. Oh, how much is Sidar? It says 88 cents. I imagine it's not much.
no, it's 20 some cents right
Okay,
now.
yeah.
I
I was about to
checked.
say, I imagine it's not super high because even though it is a commander product card, I imagine it's not super popular because this partner does nothing to most of like even the really cool EDH deck strategies. Look at it, it's only in 578 decks. Let's actually go back and look at that. 54 decks, the Kataki.
Yeah.
Where's Magical Hacker? This is his episode. 14 decks
This,
for Cabal Patriarch. And then
well,
Kiki, only
like,
in 307 decks? Are you serious?
I mean, as commander or is that as a card?
Well, that's a good question. Hold on, let me.
Because I can believe that there aren't that many Kiki Jiki commander decks running around.
It doesn't say, which is weird.
I mean,
Oh, as
well,
commander. As commander. I'm sorry. The view says
okay.
as commander.
So, I mean, yeah, I can believe there aren't that many of him running around as a commander.
I guess because you kind of telegraph what you're doing. Like, it's basically like, hey, I'm going to combo out.
Yeah. Can you stop me?
Can everybody stop me from being in this stream? Can I take off this week? So, this week on Phyrexian Takes Over 3DH.
This week. Hey, well, we'll have a die roll off at some point.
Ugh. We got to do it tomorrow so that everybody has time to build the deck, I guess.
Yeah.
If we're going to do it on Thursday. I hate everything. I hate this. I hate you. I'm pretty sure somehow you did this.
I did the funny part is I did several tests of this doing it myself, and I didn't get anything this horrible. Like I just ran one and I got, let's see, Nezahal, okay, Joriel Empress of something. I don't even know who that is, so that's something. A skeleton oh wait, no, this is bad. It's apparently just this time of night.
I
Oh,
guess.
Circular isn't bad though.
All right, you know how when you lose a game, you always like look at the last card you would have drawn to see if you
Yeah.
would have had it, or like when you go to shuffle or something, and you're like, or mulligan, you're like, I wonder if I would have drawn the land I needed. We're gonna run it one more time. Never mind. I'm
What'd you get?
really Sliver Legion. I'm really glad we stopped.
I would have played the heck out of that.
No, mm.
Mm-hmm.
I would have hated everything.
I would have played the heck out of that.
No, John, you know what? Get out of my chat. John was a Sliver player for a little while. Awful.
Oh.
This is Legion. This isn't even Hive Lord with your indestructible bullshit.
Alright, well, everyone who wants to watch the train wreck that this game is gonna be.
It's so bad.
Everyone who wants to see if Kiki can win against 3 terrible commanders. So Magical Hacker at Magical Hacker, come watch Thursday night stream. It's just for you.
Right? Yeah, this is exactly what he talked about. Playing weaker decks.
Yes, of those 4 commanders, the one that should get targeted is Kiki. Let's see if it happens.
If I get any of the other decks, all I'm running is removal.
Just removal for Kiki.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do.
Swords, path, everything that removes Kiki.
I'm gonna lose this game so badly, but god damn it, Kiki's not going off. Oh, I hate everything.
Gosh. If I win, I'm picking Kiki.
No, you're not allowed to pick. You're by default going last because you won last week.
That's not fair.
That's entirely fair.
We're die rolling for it tomorrow.
Die rolling. You
get in there and sign up for this game if you want to do it.
Don't do it.
Did you list who these were? Did we? Did we get a list of who these were?
Kataki, Cabal Patriarch, Kiki, and Sitar Kondo.
Yeah, good job.
I did it. Alright. So for everybody else, for those of you watching this on YouTube or listening to us on your favorite podcast website, you can, of course, join us every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/Praetor Magic. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at each one of those sites.com/Praetor Magic, and you can check out all these videos on youtube.com/Praetor Magic, along with all of our 3DH games that we have up there, deck techs, commander gameplays, and more. Remember that we are, that's what I didn't say in the beginning, we are sponsored by Ink Gaming now. So for those of you in recording land, you guys can go below and get the link to Ink Gaming if you want to get a custom playmat. Like, again, we just did the Praetor Magic custom game mat that I showed earlier, or mousepad or dice bag, or they're starting to do other stuff, like they're starting to do shirts and everything. So if you use that link and use our coupon code PRAETOR10 Praetor10, you get 10% off, and we get kind of kickbacks on it. So you get to support us and get, the cool stuff, the cool custom stuff that you want to get. So and then make sure you join us in the Discord down below if you want to talk to Phyrexian, because he doesn't believe in social media. If you do believe in social media, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/DM_cross. And you got anything else, Phyrexian?
Nah, just coming out on Thursday. I want to see this train wreck.
I won't come out on. I'm not. I'm protesting right now. I'm protesting by.
I really hope you go last, and I can convince the other 2 to let you have Sidar.
No, that would be the worst. Oh, that's right. Danny and John will be streaming tomorrow at 9 p.m. I'm sorry, I'm so caught up on how bad this game is going to be. They're streaming Moonhunter tomorrow at 9 p.m. So come out and enjoy that. Moonhunter is a game that we've all played together. It's a cool story-ish game. The story, and there's fighting in it too. It's a really cool game. You kind of have to see it. It's one of those games where you could play it 10 different times, and the outcome is determined by what you do in the game. So if they do play it 10 times, you'll probably see 10 different stories every time they play. It's a simple yet really cool game, and you get to unlock like really cool stuff. There's a lot of lore in the history, or I mean a lot of lore and history in the world too. It's probably one of my favorite like cheap Steam games. But yeah, so tomorrow 9 p.m, Thursday 9 p.m, I won't be there, but somebody I'm sure will be. And then join us again next Monday at 9 p.m, where we probably continue to go over War of the Spark, because there's just so much good stuff coming out. So until next time, peace.